Alright, here we go. This is a ranked 1v1 on Chasm between the blue player in the upper left, Adele in the classic striker, and his opponent, the carbon player, my bad, in the bottom right, LaiYR in the classic paladin. Adele, classic striker, looks pretty good. You know, yeah, I'm gonna let you guys draw your own conclusions here, but it does look like LaiYR going with full moneymakers at the fort, but not gonna go with a full moneymaker build at top quite yet. Well, I mean, he has full moneymakers already in queue, so I would assume that he's gonna go straight for top. Adele already did socket the moneymakers at the top outpost power station, so I mean, this is pretty standard protocol here. You could kind of say that if either player decided to go for a cheese on maybe specific outposts with coordinated ferrying back and forth before they executed the cheese, for example, creating 8 infantry and then ferrying them all and so they hit all at the same time, something like that. You could probably assume that that would have been successful on either side just because of these pretty standard type openings. It depends though, however, where each player would have been at the time they you know, could have cheese. Kind of an irrelevant point because none of those things did actually happen, but it does look like Adele a little bit ahead in the mid-fight as opposed to LaiYR pushing out from, what the hell, he pushed a tank from the top. I don't really know how productive that is, but he is now harassing Adele's tanks behind that mid-line. Does hit Adele as well. Adele a little bit low on life, but LaiYR not staying to put pressure on Adele and keep him pinned on the ground. Does look like Adele has been able to grab that middle outpost I was going to say briefly because usually in these kinds of mid-fights they go down pretty quickly, but it does look like LaiYR is losing control here, and Adele has plenty of Longhorn over here, and now Lai pulling back. Has not lost too many, but definitely is behind Adele, especially taking a look at LaiYR's build queue. He is way behind in pulling out his Longhorn. Adele now has the majority of his tanks moved out a little bit too far, I would say. This ledge is kind of beneficial to LaiYR as he does have the downward angle to fire, and Adele does not, well, okay, now Adele has a pretty good line. LaiYR, already does have artillery, one artillery out. Does Adele have a jammer out on the field quite yet? No, does not. So, well, now has 2 in queue, which is just a little hilarious to me that frequently high-tier players queue 2 or even 3, you know, jamming units, typically the jammer, in their artillery, well, in their artillery jamming cluster, whatever, however you want to call that, just because they usually get sniped by bombs. It's such a sad fact of the game, and it does look like Adele going for an infantry drop at the top, and going with stacked soldiers, or at least potentially stacked soldiers once it actually hits. Now these are hitting that outpost, but creeps bunkered. LaiYR already responding, and as that paladin going to be able to hammer, and bombs already in queue, so this is completely shut down. And Adele not going to be able to finish off LaiYR's top outpost, and has lost a fair amount of units to LaiYR's bombing, but now Lai just re-socketing, accidentally grabbing that bomb, but re-bunkering creeps there at the top. And it does look like Adele still having a foothold here at mid, except Lai does have a unit advantage, 42 to 49 right now, and is ferrying pretty well, does focus down that corner Longhorn. However, Adele already deciding to move out, and Lai already at his unit cap. It does look like there is going to be some sort of base race. And these tanks going this way, so they will soften up these tanks, and these tanks, okay, so they are, both tank lines are going to soften each other up, but Adele with its superior numbers at that point. I think 1 or 2 Longhorn did get killed, yes. But now LaiYR defending with his Paladin Hammer. Does have creeps blocked away, so gonna get a lot of great shots off right now. Okay, just one. One great shot is better than 0 great shots, but these tanks are going over the bridge, probably not gonna be able to clear. These are eventually gonna neutralize that middle outpost if Adele doesn't come back to respond specifically to that. And now Adele getting a little bit of repositioning here. Chasm, ever since that weird long tanks or units in general stop further than the fort, or than they used to at the fort when they're set on attack. You know, this Chasm path, it's all these tanks sitting over here are just such at a disadvantageous position, and LaiYR are able to shut down all of those Longhorn that Adele pushed out, and now he has been able to neutralize them in the middle outpost. LaiYR are going to be able to take this middle. It does look like he will be able to body block enough creeps, so he will be able to grab control. He has a dramatic unit advantage at this point, 52 to 23, and even though he has less than half of his life, at this point the map control advantage, especially on a map like Chasm, where it is a little bit hard to push the bridges sometimes, especially if an opponent has mid, because it's so easy to scout those bridges if you have mid. It's very, very hard to come back. You know, Lai with more than double, almost triple Adele's upkeep at this point. And that one Longhorn, wow, where the hell did that come from? I mean, obviously over the bridge, but yeah, did finally reach that bottom. Adele now has to start doing some work. Pumping out Longhorn probably should start pumping out Moneymakers, because at this point he is far enough behind that, you know, one massive push is, you know, assuming proper scouting. LaiYR now looking at the fort, gonna harass some Moneymakers. Little does he know that there is a lot of tanks coming across the bottom bridge. LaiYR has been able to finish off 2 Moneymakers already, and now going back a little bit concerned. I guess it's not seeing Adele at all. Oh, and just does decide to push out. Oh man, this is an unknowing base race, or not unknowing, but LaiYR unwittingly creating a base race situation at this point, because he is now pushing to Adele's fort, and Adele, oh, now gets scouted, moving that one tank out, ferrying it to that fort, and LaiYR now does scout it, but a little bit of nice fancy flying. Adele able to escort that tank a little bit further. However, this tank line is going to be hitting the blue fort sometime soon, and now LaiYR has been able to finish off that one tank. Has he noticed the rest of the tanks moving out? I mean, he has to have. Okay, if they're sitting right here, Lai now will be able to make enough of defense, and Adele actually has set down 3 Longhorn, which will eventually kill these, because these are prioritizing on the fort health. So a little bit strange of command. Oh, Adele switching to T. Whoa, I have never seen a switch to T like that before. So strange. Already over here, but Lai will be able to finish off pretty much all these Longhorn before they get to this bottom outpost. And now Adele finally going to be able to finish off these. Going to be pushing out already now, but Lai still has a huge upkeep advantage. The majority of them are sitting back here at the fort. He can push those out, and he probably, I mean, it's not that dangerous, especially on a map this big, especially in a 1v1. Adele's tanks now moving out. Still dramatic upkeep advantage for LaiYR. Now harassing Moneymaker still. It's a strange move. I mean, it's not the most productive thing at this stage of the game, I would say, because he's that far ahead. And now Adele's tanks hitting the mid. Okay, yeah, mass hold position, probably the right thing to do. But no AA. LaiYR is going to easily be able to hammer down and throw his hammer and shoot in. And now, with more tanks dropped here at the fort, Adele completely ignoring that, sending from the bottom. Okay, not completely ignoring it. Now has responded, you know, with his life at the amount that it is. He definitely can't just ignore it. However, 2 Longhorn in block position, that will be enough to stop those tanks that are dropped, and LaiYR handling these bottom ones. These are going to be completely suicided to those middle units unless Adele decides to reposition. No, he just goes, scouts the fort. Gonna start to, I would assume these are going to be switched to T. No, LaiYR, I mean, once again, no AA. LaiYR free to just hammer, which is so effective against tank clusters, especially Longhorn, not Gemini, because they have their slower turret rotation. They have you know, less DPS. And they're definitely not as well suited to attacking mechs. And Adele desperately trying to get this drop. Not even it's just a, you know, a further ferry from these tanks that were pushed out. Now are easily going to be able to kill these. What does Adele have left to do? 19. You listen to Adele. Okay, this is a Smurf. But now Lai dropping 2 more tanks. Adele finishing off a stray Longhorn from Lai's side, but at this point it does look like it's going to be close to the end of the game. Adele pretty much giving up, spinning in circles there. Does have enough Longhorn to defend against this, but is pretty much given up at this point. LaiYR with a great pushing back and forth there. Adele does not necessarily rage quit, but just leaves. Why leave? Who cares? If you're a Smurf, you kind of want to stay at till the end, though, so you can get those kudos rewards and get more units, however you want to put that. But yes, LaiYR taking this ranked 1v1 over Adele on Chasm. Lots of pushing. I mean, 1v1 Chasm games nowadays, especially with this tank-heavy meta, tends to have that much pushing, yes. Either that or Osprey fights, you know, leapfrogging to mid and to that top outpost. So, you know, with defensive lines here and there to prevent those kind of pushes from being effective. But this was no Osprey in this game. Paladin versus Striker. I did enjoy the weird moves that I did see. I've never seen that that switch to T from that bottom going back. I mean, it didn't work. Obviously, it had pretty much no effect, but never really thought of that specifically. Honestly, there's no real good application for that. I'm sorry to say, but yeah, if you were thinking to use that move, there's very little chance you will ever be able to productively use that specific command switch Probably a mass hold position would be better there. Kind of going on and on, but LaiYR taking this game over Adele. If you guys play any Smurfs or beat them or lose to them, let me know. Send them in, especially if they're entertaining. RayYZerix@gmail.com. Oh, actually, why do I keep saying that? Because I have a new submission form. No more RayYZerix@gmail.com. Use that if you want to contact me for any other reason. Or you can message me on Steam for those reasons as well. But if you want to submit a replay, use that new online form that I have. It's pretty awesome. I'm loving it. I mean, it's great. It really helps. And if you want to cast AirMech, let me know. I'll try to help you out. All right, guys, this is RUI, and that is game. See you next time.